Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, Books, Gifts, and Prayers. My name's Leslie, and just welcome to my little corner where I discuss books, my obsession over Interview the Vampire, and right now I'm doing a book tag. So thank you, Kiana, for tagging me and the clean slate tag. I believe Courtney tagged you, and the original creators, Catalyst Reads, but their channel is no longer available. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it. The first question is, are there any genres that you're going to read more of or less in 2025? I'd have to say I'm going to carry on last year's tradition of challenging myself to read more romance. Um, Last year was me dipping into a genre I don't really gravitate towards, and I had a challenge of reading like one romance a month, or that was basically the goal. And I had such a great time doing that. I definitely learned a lot about what I like and what I don't like. Um, I don't know when, but me and my buddy Sam, we've basically buddy read a series together, and that is the Rebel Blue Ranch series. I think that's like big on the TikTok side of things, or just overall, it's done very well. It's been very successful. And I really would like to have a discussion about the entire series overall and why that works so well as a romance genre for myself, because I'm very picky when it comes to that genre. And so, yeah, I just want to continue to increase my reading of that particular genre to learn more about it. And I'm going to help myself to make sure that how do I say, hold myself accountable with participating and in the Kooky Mayhem Challenge. Nicole from Dusty Book Sniffers, which might just be my favorite name of all time, of a YouTube channel, and also Coda, our bestie Coda, are putting this whole thing together. And so a bunch of us are going to be like on a whole like sprint train, if you will, participating and reading together. And it's focused on Kindle Unlimited, I believe. And so, yeah, I'll be participating in that. I'll talk more about that later, but just so you have an idea, that's what I'll be participating in. The second question is, are there any books you have read recently that challenge some of your own philosophies and beliefs? Oh shoot. I don't know. Oh shoot. You know what? Probably should have hmm. This doesn't really completely tap into it. Why am I put an answer for something else that doesn't really work here. Have I? You know me. I love digging into reading like all genres, all different like sorts of I guess you could say philosophies, points of views. I don't necessarily have to agree with it, but I just like to read them. And that's something that I'm going to continue this year. Um, Let me see. What really stood out to me? Human Acts by Han Kang was like a bit of a emotional juggernaut. If you want to talk about philosophies, I guess I have to say that when I read Better Living Through Birding by Chris Cooper, I felt like he brought so much to the table in terms of um, writing, framing his life through birding in a way that even though it's even in the title, um, I think I was taken back by how much it permeates every single page. And there's just like a level of compassion that he has. And there's only one other writer that I've come across that had such a deep well of compassion, and that was Brandon Kyle Goodman. And that's also a book that they had written a memoir that was also just had compassion at the forefront. So I think that's something that not necessarily challenges me, I guess. Well, just challenge me, but just like pushes me more to like be more accepting, more gracious in ways that sometimes when I don't feel like I could do it, but to keep doing that, right? So yeah. So the third question is, who would you recommend for a newbie to watch? I brought this person up in sprints and I've tagged them before, but I'm going to bring them up again. And that is Nisi Reads, and their channel's PJs and Pages, which I love. I came across them, I think at nighttime, probably because I'm up late night doing sprints. And I'm not really big on classics, but that's basically what they cover on their YouTube channel. So if you're into classics, they're going to be your go-to. They're reading a classic, like so many chapters a night, and in between having like chatty bits. It's very cozy. There's just like a cozy, sleepy vibe to it. I don't know if that's a compliment, but I really mean it as a compliment that like if you're having a hard time winding down at night, that's the YouTube channel that you're gonna want to check out. And they're fairly new, and I don't really see their subscribers really budging. And I just kind of want to see their channels skyrocket because I don't really understand the algorithm where I see some people like really creating like these engaging community experiences, but then their channel doesn't budge. That's a great example. But other people will like have one video and it'll skyrocket. I just don't understand how the algorithm works that way. But it is what it is, and I still don't understand. So, number 4, do you have a book bucket list? Yes, there is one book on my bucket list. I have several, but the one that really sticks out, which I've brought up several times because I have not read it, and it's just becoming that book that I'm chasing that I just have not gotten to, and that's William H. Glass, The Tunnel. I've talked about this before. It's not like it has a huge reference page. This book is over 600 pages. It's like 650 pages, something like that. And so I'm not really big on tomes. This is something that I could definitely see Nicole reading. Yeah, so this is like, I guess, a well revered author. I did not know when I picked that up. The book itself sounds interesting, and I have just not gotten to read it. I'm not going to go over the synopsis because I've bought this book up too many times, but this is basically like my white whale. 5, what about booktube has surprised me the most? Oh, there's a couple of things. One is like the community connections have been really beautiful. And it's like beyond booktube. That's even like the YouTube space overall. Because there are just channels I subscribe to, and I find myself chatting with people that are hosting these channels that are doing beautiful jobs and like really creating like these deep, profound questions, connections. And so that's been like my biggest takeaway that I really enjoyed it, like as a positive note. Um, on a negative note, it does feel frustrating. Again, like I said about Nisi Reads, there's just channels that I see are so incredible, but I just don't understand like um, what is the reward system with the algorithm, or just like there's so many of us out here that I think are doing an incredible job to create like these engaging conversations. And so it feels like an interesting hurdle. But I've also, I can't think of the gentleman's name right now, but there's someone with a YouTube channel, and he has like a very large subscribers, and he shot a video, and it was kind of like a behind the scenes kind of thing. The amount of time, the amount of work, the amount of effort that he puts into just creating the pin photo is wild. I'm just like, oh, okay, that's why that person does so well, because I'm not doing it. I am not doing the level of detail for a pin photo that that person's doing, because I just don't have the time, you know. Um, and it's just a different experience from like doing something as a career versus doing it like on the side, and like time consumption, time management. And so that's been a really huge surprise. The amount of production on the back end for some people is um, pretty wild to witness, you know, and I'm in awe of them. Um, Number 6, what are some of your goals? Doesn't have to be booktube. Oh, so I'll give you two. One is booktube, one is not. I would love if at some point in my life I could do like YouTube as a career. There's a couple of channels, and I don't want to do what they do, but I find them inspiring. There's a channel, and it's like these two sisters, and they basically do like editorial work and production work for other channels and podcasts. And so they even have a YouTube channel discussing all that. And so they're kind of almost feels like a little bit like on the production marketing side. I thought that was such a like a creative way to carve out a career for themselves. Also, outside of YouTube, I just want a job I enjoy, because right now, if you've been in any of my sprints or had chatty bits with me, you know that I'm like in a big transitional period in my life. I left a job that I was at for 10 years, and it's been crazy ever since. I'm thankful for the leap that I took, but the growing pains have been growing pains. So I just want better for myself, um, especially not just for myself, but I see what's going on in the community and with the economy. And so I just hope that we can all hold on to each other and support each other as we go through this like really huge transition. We'll call it that. 7, if you could meet dead or alive any writer, artist, or musician, who would they be? All right, no surprise here. That would be Anne Rice, who passed away before season 1 was released. Actually, she passed away during season 1 of Interview with the Vampire when it was being shot. I would love to have met her. I don't know. She seems like a kind person, but also like to themselves. So even though I really love her work, I kind of feel like maybe I wouldn't be intimidated. Um, Someone else would be Eric Bogosian, who plays Daniel on Interview with the Vampire. Um, I feel like he's someone I'd even want to like interview, because I don't know. Even though maybe I would feel like a little bit intimidated, he does feel like accessible, and like whenever he's in interviews, he's very like a lighthearted and chatty. And also, he's a writer himself, and I do plan on reading his book later on this year. One of his books, I should say. But I'll discuss that later. But I do plan on reading one of his books, and it's a tome, and you know me and my tomes. We're like oil and water. So yeah, those are the two people. 8. Would you rather have your life written by your favorite author or be portrayed in a movie by your favorite actor, actress? No, I think I'm having an adverse reaction to being portrayed in a movie. I would like my favorite author. So yeah, let's choose Anne Rice for her to write a story, just because she's such a wild writer. But I would hope that instead of like centering me, it would be more about like all the different experiences in life and the people that have come in and out of my life, if that makes any sense. I like those kind of books where it's not so much about like how I move the world, but like how I observe it and the experience. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I feel like she'll be able to capture that right. not right, but she's able to capture it, and she's going to do her own Anne Rice thing, which will probably make my life sound way more interesting than it actually is, okay? All right, number 9. What are some of the challenges you have overcome, or would you still like to improve regarding your channel? This whole entire time I've had a channel, I have not had an intro or an outro. I just recently had an outro, but that was just for like a specific segment of just sharing photos from a recent visit to a bookstore, Octavia's Bookshelf. But yeah, that's it. I don't have anything specific for my channel because the segments I create are so, like my readathon, it's so specific. I don't want like a general intro across the board for that. I don't know if that makes any sense. So I put myself in the pickle, really. But it is something for me to consider doing at some point. Yeah, I definitely seen other people's and I've enjoyed them, but I don't know really what would capture my channel. Okay, so, oh, also I wanted to add, making time for more community-based segments. You already know there's another white whale, or should I say the elephant in the room. I do have a segment that I've been wanting to kick off since last year, and I have not done it. Not that I don't care. I care very much about this, and I feel very passionate about it, but I'm creating my own roadblocks time-wise. And so I'm trying to work on dismantling that, because when I carve out free time for myself, I'll lie down at night, my wheels will start spinning, and I'll come with like other things to do, which is crazy. Anyways, basically I'm a scatterbrain, okay? All right, moving along to number 10. What advice would you give to someone that is thinking about deleting their YouTube channel? I'd say don't give up. Keep doing what you're doing. Focus on what you like, but also if you feel, maybe assess why you feel like deleting your channel before you do so. Like, because ultimately, if it's mentionable, it's manageable. So that's kind of where I'm at. Who am I tagging for this? So in tags, people usually like list names right here. I haven't decided. I'm going to tag some of my old pals that I've been around with for a while. I'm going to also tag some new pals, some people that I've come across through tags. And that's basically where I'm at. And if you're watching this video and I did not specifically tag you, consider yourself tagged. All right. Well, love everyone. Thank you for sticking around for the chatty chaos. Life is chaos. Be kind to yourself, be kind to your others, and read more books. Bye.